Hi, BrenTech here, where tech is made simple. Internet Explorer mode is a legacy aspect of the Edge browser that Microsoft has kept around mainly for compatibility reasons with older applications, especially in corporations and enterprises. And Microsoft has made an interesting announcement and some changes due to Internet Explorer being abused by bad actors, so to speak. Now, Microsoft has this to say, and it says, while the majority of the web has transitioned to modern standards, there remains a small subset of sites that still depend on legacy technologies such as ActiveX and Flash. And those are two big ones for vulnerabilities being exploited. Microsoft carries on to say, this is especially prevalent in business apps, old security camera interfaces, and some government portals, where updating underlying technology stacks is often slow or impractical. For this reason, Microsoft Edge offers Internet Explorer mode so that users can complete their tasks on pre-selected sites, then return safely to Edge. But here's the problem. However, Microsoft says, it is important to recognize that Internet Explorer was not designed with the robust architecture and defense in-depth mitigations that users have come to expect from modern Chromium-based web browsers, such as Edge. Microsoft says this exposes users of such browsers to risks that contemporary products are explicitly engineered to mitigate. And this brings us to the actual exploit that is caused by this problem, called Chakra, spelled C-H-A-K-R-A. I hope I'm not butchering that, but nonetheless, Chakra and entry point abuse. That's what the exploit is all about. Now, Microsoft says that in August 2025, the Edge security team received credible intelligence that threat actors were leveraging basic social engineering techniques alongside unpatched zero-day exploits in Internet Explorer's JavaScript engine, Chakra, to gain access to victim devices. Now, the JavaScript engine is something we talk about almost on a weekly basis in Google Chrome and Microsoft Edge, where there are different exploits that need to be patched. So this is a reason why that older technology, as an example, used in Internet Explorer mode, it can be used as an attack surface and vector. So what happens is Microsoft says the attacker would first convince the victim to navigate to an official-looking spoofed website, then use a flyout on the page to request the user to reload the page in Internet Explorer mode. The attackers would then leverage a Chakra, Internet Explorer's JavaScript engine, exploit to gain remote code execution, so that means over a network or over the internet. Finally, Microsoft says the attackers would use a second exploit to elevate their privileges out of the browser to gain full control of the victim's device, with Microsoft saying that this attack vector is particularly concerning because it bypasses many of the security enhancements present in Chromium by reverting to Internet Explorer's older execution environment, as I just mentioned. Successful exploitation, Microsoft says, could result in the installation of malware, lateral movement within corporate networks, or exfiltration of sensitive data. Now, this is Microsoft's response, where it says it's restraining Internet Explorer mode access, and this is how it's doing it. Microsoft says, with clear evidence of active exploitation and users at risk, the Edge browser security team took decisive action to remove the highest risk entry points for loading a page in Internet Explorer mode, including the dedicated toolbar button, which I still have, by the way. So obviously this is work in progress. Context menu entry, so there's no Internet Explorer mode in the context menu. And the hamburger menu, or the three-dotted or ellipsis menu as it's also known. No Internet Explorer mode. That's also been removed from the main menu. Now, Microsoft does say, though, that if you have a need for Internet Explorer compatibility, IE mode remains available but must now be explicitly enabled on a site-by-site basis via Edge's settings. So what you would do is you head back to your main menu, head to settings, head over to default browser, and here you'll see allow sites to be reloaded in Internet Explorer mode. And what Microsoft says you need to do is you need to make sure it's set to allow. If it's on default or don't allow, pop it on to allow. Then after enabling this setting, Microsoft says you can then add the specific site or sites requiring IE compatibility to the Internet Explorer mode page lists, which means you just add the page, enter the URL, and then add it. And what Microsoft says, you would then reload the site, and it should now open in Internet Explorer mode with the required compatibility. Now, the reason Microsoft is doing all of this is Microsoft says that this approach ensures that the decision to load web content using legacy technology is significantly more intentional. So basically, you've got to go through a whole lot of extra steps if you want to use Internet Explorer mode. The additional steps Microsoft says required to add a site to a site list are a significant barrier for even the most determined attackers to overcome. So that's Microsoft's way of responding to this issue by restraining Internet Explorer mode access due to the abuse as mentioned in this video. And just wanted to put it out there in case you are using Internet Explorer mode or would be interested, like we like to do on the channel, just keeping you guys posted. And just on a personal note, I don't think I've ever used Internet Explorer mode in the Edge browser, but nonetheless, just keeping you guys in the loop. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.